Some mysteries sink beneath the waves and are lost forever, and some linger, waiting for someone to return. In 1872, when the merchant ship Mary Celeste set sail from New York bound for Genoa, no one aboard could have known they were embarking on a voyage already marked by fate. Beneath the shroud of cold Atlantic fog and whispering winds, something unseen stirred, a presence that had not come from land, but from the unfathomable depths of the sea itself. What began as a routine journey soon spiraled into a series of unsettling events, objects moving on their own, footsteps echoing in empty corridors, and the sharp, suffocating scent of leaking alcohol hinting at dangers both earthly and otherworldly. There was something or someone else on board, else, weeks later, when the Mary Celeste was discovered adrift and abandoned, her crew vanished without a trace, her decks eerily silent, her secrets intact. To this day, sailors whisper that if you venture far enough into the Atlantic, past the point where the sea falls deathly calm, you might glimpse her once more, drifting ghost-like on the horizon, her dark figure standing at the rail, beckoning. Because the Mary Celeste is no longer just a ship, she is a living curse, eternal, restless, and waiting. Chapter 1. The Final Voyage. November 25th, 1872, New York. A thick veil of fog wrapped the harbor in a cold, silvery silence. Beneath the damp gray skies, the tall ship Mary Celeste slowly glided out into the Atlantic, her dark sails snapping softly in the wind, as though whispering ominous secrets to the sea. Captain Benjamin Briggs stood on the deck with his wife, Sarah, and their 2-year-old daughter, Sophia. Sarah's eyes carried a faint unease. For nights, she had been troubled by strange dreams, shadowy figures, whispering voices, and dark waters swallowing the ship. That morning, Sophia's favorite doll had tumbled from the deck onto the floor. Despite the still air, the ship carried a total of 9 people, the Briggs family and 7 seasoned sailors, all experienced men. Yet one, James Harmon, had been visibly restless. Quietly, he approached Captain Briggs and murmured, "Sir, something is wrong with the cargo. There's a strange smell leaking from the barrels of alcohol. And for the past 3 nights I've heard footsteps pacing outside my cabin." But there was no one there. Briggs gave a slight smile to dismiss the fear. Yet behind his calm gaze, a shadow of concern flickered. The ship sailed on, bound for Genoa, Italy, unaware that this voyage would be their last. Chapter 2. Whispers of the Deep. By the 3rd day, the Atlantic seemed calm. Too calm. The ocean stretched endlessly, glassy and silent, yet unseen currents stirred beneath the surface. Unsettling incidents began to unfold on board. Metal utensils clattered to the floor by themselves. At night, footsteps echoed along the deck, though no figure was in sight. One evening, Sarah approached her husband, her face pale. "Benjamin, I think something is following us." Last night in Sophia's room, her doll moved on its own, and it smiled at me. Briggs's jaw tightened. "Sarah, it's only exhaustion. The ship is safe." Yet his hands trembled ever so slightly. The following night, First Mate Andrew burst into the captain's quarters in alarm. "Sir, smoke is rising from the cargo hold." Briggs rushed down. Alcohol fumes were leaking heavily from the barrels. The ship had become a floating powder keg. Realizing the danger, Briggs made a swift decision. "Everyone to the lifeboat. We'll stay off the ship until the fumes clear." The crew obeyed swiftly, no panic, no argument. Calmly and orderly, they boarded the lifeboat, expecting to return soon. But fate had other plans. Chapter 3. The Abyss Awakens. The lifeboat gently drifted away from the Mary Celeste. Captain Briggs kept his gaze locked on his ship. She looked perfectly intact from afar. But suddenly, little Sophia tugged at her mother's sleeve and whispered, "Mommy, look, that man is calling us." Sarah turned. On the deck of the Mary Celeste stood a tall, shadowy figure cloaked in black. His face was obscured, his limbs unnaturally long. Slowly, he lifted a hand and gestured, beckoning them back. As Briggs's breath caught, a towering dark wave rose from the sea without warning. The lifeboat capsized. Darkness, cold, silence. And then, nothing. Chapter 4. The Derelict Ship, December 4th, 1872. The British brig De Gratia spotted an empty vessel adrift in the open Atlantic, the Mary Celeste. The ship was intact, sails were secured, cargo untouched. The galley was stocked with food. A piano sat ready with sheet music opened on it. Yet not a soul was aboard. Captain David Morehouse of De Gratia examined the logbook. The last entry was perfectly routine, but deep scratches scarred the walls of the captain's quarters, as though someone had desperately clawed from the inside trying to escape. And the sheet music on the piano. It slowly flipped pages on its own. One of Morehouse's sailors muttered, voice trembling, "Sir, I'm not staying here a moment longer. There's something on this ship. It's cursed." Chapter 5. The curse lives on. To this day, sailors whisper that if you venture deep enough into the Atlantic, when the ocean is deathly calm, you might catch sight of the Mary Celeste again. Her silhouette drifts ghost-like across the water, and on her deck, the shadowed figure still stands, forever beckoning. A faint piano melody floats on the wind, and the soft laughter of a child echoes across the waves. They say anyone who boards her never returns, because the Mary Celeste is no longer just a ship. She is a living curse, eternal, restless, and waiting. Thank you so much, and if you did enjoy it, please think about liking and subscribing. Thank you.